Okay, when you got a fairly complicated trig expression to simplify and you're not sure what to do, a good start is usually to try to convert everything to sines and cosines. And I've listed some trigonometric identities from a textbook that I used to use to show you the identities that we're going to use. So this cotangent of x, if I want to write it in terms of cosine and sine, I use identity 5 right here. That's one of the quotient identities. So I can replace cotangent with cosine over sine. And this cosine of the opposite of x, right here, identity 10, tells you that you can replace that with the cosine of x. And so now if we use some algebraic simplification, these signs cancel out, and cosine times cosine is 1 minus cosine squared. Now that's probably simpler than what we started with, but you could probably make it a little bit simpler using this Pythagorean identity right here. Sine squared plus cosine squared is always equal to 1. Another form for that Pythagorean identity is that sine squared equals 1 minus cosine squared. Because I can subtract the term cosine squared x from both sides of the identity that we started with. That means 1 minus cosine squared I can replace with sine squared. And that's probably what was intended for you to get from here to here. And to show you that those are indeed equivalent, let's go to Desmos, where I've graphed both functions. If I highlight or enable this function, there's the curve. And if I highlight g of x is equal to sine squared of x, I get the same exact picture. So these two expressions are identities. They will always give you the same value, regardless of the value for x, except we might have a problem for this first one when the sine of x equals 0, because this is cosine over sine. When does the sine of x equal 0? Probably at 0 or pi. So let's see what f of pi is. Undefined. That's because you cannot take the cotangent of pi. So they're not quite equivalent. G of pi is defined. So even though it looks like these are equivalent, the fact that we have a cotangent here means that x cannot be a value that ends up with the terminal side along the x-axis. Okay, there you go. Hope that helped. And if you have any questions, post a comment. There you go.